That's it, man. Very good day, everybody. Welcome to another video. I'm your personal funky sim pilot. My name is Arkady Gidzenko, and I will be your captain for today's flight. So today's flight hopefully will be interesting. We'll be using the Fenix Airbus A320 Fenix simulations. Go check it out. The link is in the description as always. Very cool little Airbus. And the routing will be from Chile to the Falkland Islands. So we will be departing from the Punta Arenas airport. And I will be flying at our arrival will be Mount Pleasant, Echo Golf, Yankee Papa, on the Falkland Islands, a British overseas territory, with a very long, well-maintained runway. It's basically can handle like all types of aircraft. It's like civil, very good, but also like a strategic position. Anyway, it's going to be a beautiful environment, hopefully as well. So basically, we'll be departing from like an urban kind of environment, and then we'll be oceanic, and then we'll do an island landing. It's all going to be there, if everything goes well. That is all right. So let me just check the volume here a little bit. 1 second. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. All right. Let me just have a little sound check. Sounds like a sleeping canary. Alright, man. So let's see if we can get this simulator running. So here we are with the LATAM Chile Airlines livery. So we got the Fenix A320-200 Fenix simulations. Go check it out. It's been, as you can see, we're already connected to the ground power unit. So the aircraft is already on ground power, but it's not turned on yet. The jetway is being connected. We're using real world time and real world weather, and GSX and the Aerosoft Simple Traffic tool. But that last one is actually not generating any kind of traffic here. This is one of the southernmost cities on planet Earth, where we're actually now. So we're really down low. And yeah, we'll be flying east, the Falkland Islands, and it will be about a 1 hour 20-minute flight, flight time. And let's just hop onto the flight deck and get everything started up. So we'll first turn on the batteries, the Airbus A320. We can turn on external power, crew oxygen supply, and the ground control. Strobe lights going, nav lights are on. Oh, that does work. Let's get some integrated lights, and we are on the emergency exit lights. And last but not least, the IRS system, the ADERS. Right, so the aircraft is loading up. Excuse me. So we got our flight plan right here. Over 13 minutes late. Well, here we go. Something we'll probably also notice is quite extreme winds. Although this looks quite okay. Runway. Oh my God, that is loud, man. Let's see, we got 30010 knots for the departure. And arrival 360, 22 knots. So 22 knots is quite a lot of wind. And 10 knots is windy, but we're okay. 14 degrees, QNH 1005, QNH 1012, 12 degrees at Mount Pleasant. Well, let's stay on the departure side here. So let's actually get the weather update. Now we get 290 at 20 knots. Look at that. So I heard the weather here changes quite rapidly. to 010, 15, costing up to 28 knots on our arrival. Alright. Let me check a couple of things. Load aircraft, the GSX boarding and the fuel link. GSX boarding only. I'm not really sure which one to select first. Let's just try something here. Load fuel instantly, yeah, sure.
Boarding requested.
Oh, there you go, boarding requested. That's pretty cute. Landing by land, Chile. Alright, so that should all take care of itself, as it should. So select entire system, so let's set everything up here. So I believe you got to wait. It's been a while since you've flown the Airbus A320. Open forward cargo, but that's already opening, so flight unit. That's my time en route, 1 hour 21 minutes.
Bags into the overhead lockers, wheels first, and keep your small items under the seat in front of you. These include laptops, handbags, duty-free and loose items of clothing. If you are seated in an emergency exit row or a front row bulkhead seat, all of your items must be placed into an overhead locker. Once you have safely stowed your cabin bag, please
Passengers boarding starting.
To help us ensure an on-time departure, we would kindly ask that you keep the aisle clear, enabling all remaining customers to board. Your seatbelt can now be fastened ready for departure. This is a no-smoking service. Thank you for observing this policy.
Right, it's pretty cool. Let's just jump back here. We're still on the correct ALEX cycle. Look at the latest page. Unit request. We'll get our flight plans from here.
Welcome on board.
Flight number Lima for November 812. And where do we get our OFP? Pilot brief. So block fuel 8.4 or 8.5. Final reserves 4.1 or so. Cost index 46 and cruising altitude 330. 46 for the cost index and 330 for the cruising flight level. 46 330.
This way, please.
Let's do a wind request.
Por aquí, por favor. Hello. Good afternoon. Hola.
So the flight plan is in here, and I believe we do not have a departure and we do not have an arrival. So we go direct to PALIX out of runway 30, and then we'll go direct to, basically direct to runway 28. So runway 30 and runway 28, let's just go to here. And we'll click here, departure. Runway 30, no SID, insert, and then at our arrival we will have ILS 28 for the approach, No star. No stars available.
Su base de abordar.
Insert. And that is it. Now we go over the flight plan to see if everything is looking okay. 1622, and then basically we go direct to PALIX. Have a look if we can see what it would look like on this map. So runway 30, that's this direction. We'll take a right turn at some point.
Buenas tardes.
And then we just go direct to PALIX.
Por aquí, por
So
favor.
basically we're turning to the right. I guess we can easily just delete that flight plan discontinuity right there. I think I didn't do it correctly. Where is the clear? And insert. Well, that's gone. So PALIX, GAL, SUNKO, ASKAS, DIGIS, MTP, and then there's another flight plan discontinuity taking us to Alpha, and then Charlie Foxtrot 28, and then final fix 28, and then EGYP 28. That's our. I'm just gonna call it EGYP. So 28. Let's have a look at. Let's get the approach chart for runway 28. That should be this one. We could maybe add a waypoint. So what's the latest waypoint on our plan then? I guess that might be Alpha. MTP to Alpha. Point Alpha.
Base de abordar, por favor.
I'm guessing that's the initial approach fix. Let's just take that. So we don't have to change a thing.
¿Puedo ver su base de
We
abordar?
just remove the MTP to Alpha. But I do want to have a look at what that looks like on our chart basically. So MTP
Aquí, por favor.
and then 28. Let's see.
Por aquí, por favor. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Buenas tardes.
So they don't have any arrival charts available on this airport. They simply do not exist. So do we know how far out the MTP is? Let's see. We don't have range link or anything. Not looking at the runway.
Aquí, por
The
favor.
runway is there's the runway length listed.
This way, please.
Let's look here. We should have it here on this chart in any case, at runway 28. And then the VOR is right in front of the runway. Basically, as you can see it here as well. Warning, avoid overflight of penguin colonies and areas of wildlife activity.
Base de abordar, por favor.
That is so damn cute, man.
Hello.
That is really cute. So there's penguin colonies around here, so we do not want to disturb them, obviously. So it's very sweet. Try and I have no clue how to take care of that. But we'll see. So after landing, we will probably. This is main apron. Also, we'll just take a left turn out of Echo or Foxtrot, but basically right there. So the runway is 2.5, 2.6 kilometers, 8,494 feet. Warning, severe turbulence can occur when the surface winds are generally strong from 330 clockwise to 030. However, the most severe turbulence is likely during rotor streaming when the northerlies give way to light surface winds fluctuating in direction. During forecast periods of rotor streaming and for 1 hour either side, no routine fixed wing operations will be permitted without authorization. Right, so they've definitely got some rules going on there. Let's just keep setting it up. So MTP, let's just let's keep it in for now until we get a little bit closer. So DIGIS, MTP, and then Alpha. So Alpha is basically, that's going to be very tight turn, so we're probably just going to have to vector ourselves after,
Welcome on board.
well, maybe upon approaching MTP, and then all of a sudden we'll just go, I don't know,
Hello.
120 degrees or something, and then we'll get back on course. Alright, so let's leave the flight plan for now. Secondary I'm still not really doing. RadNav should all populate by itself, and ILS frequency in the course will be populated once we are getting closer to the airport. So for the fuel, that's the NSB page. We cannot get the numbers from here like we can in the PMDG Boeing, which is super nice. So then we'll just get it from here. We go to Phoenix. Alright, so we're late, so we can expect during the flight that we'll have to submit like a delay card.
Welcome on board.
Mass and balance. So boarding is still in progress. We do have our fuel. So this is the cargo, this is the fuel. Planned fuel 8.489 and 8.489 is in tanks as well. Resend load sheet. So zero fuel weight 55.1. 55.1, and we do the forward slash, and then zero fuel weight center of gravity. I'm not really sure that we can choose. Oh, of course, this is still. Yeah, we'll have to do this again later, but let's fill these numbers in for now. And let's go 31.9.
This way, please.
So we got block fuel, we got fuel on board, we got 8.4, let's say 8.5. See if it accepts, that's 8.5.
Pase de abordar, por favor.
So trip wind you don't have to do, we already have the download of the winds. We got 119 out of 156 passengers now. So this is now do a little bit of calculations, but we'll have to look at this later again, I think. And performance page. So here we should be able to, man, it's really been a while. Departure performance. So you got your preliminary load sheet. This is not fully loaded yet. Runway 30, runway service will be dry. This is configured for optimum flaps.
Welcome on board.
The anti-ice will be off, the packs will be off. And here it says 29.6. Sync live weather 1005, 290, 22 knots. Let's calculate. From 132, 132 and 136. Transition altitude 10,000 feet. That's something we can see maybe on one of the charts.
Hello.
Normally I wouldn't look on these charts, but they do have departures, so then we'll find it on one of the departure charts. No, this is not pleasant. So go back to airport. Don't fall for that trap, Arkady. Okay, so standard instant departure, so we just choose one, any one doesn't matter. Transition out to 10,000, so that's confirmed. So 132, V1, 132, rotate, 132, V2 will be 136, transition altitude 10,000 feet, thrust reduction, acceleration altitude 1620, engine out acceleration 1620, and then flap 1 takeoff, and select takeoff temperature will be 60 degrees. So 132. And 132 for the rotate, and 136
Poder su pase de abordar, por favor.
gyro P2 speed, transition out to 10,000, 1610. So we're likely sitting at around 110 feet. This is now on standard pressure, so let's say 1005. That should give us about 120, which is basically the difference that we see right here, because usually it's around 1500 feet, the thrust reduction and acceleration altitudes and the engine out. So flight takeoff temperature was 60. There you go. And we'll be taking a flat 1 departure. So these numbers are in now. Basically that concludes the setup here, but let's put this on the init B page so that we can check our numbers again in a little bit. And that's boarding completed. Outside baggage handlers have finished as well. The left door is open. So let's see, setup wise, anything else here? We got the deep slip acronym basically. So let's get some of the numbers correct now. SUNKO load sheet final. And let's also get to the Fenix mass and balance. So we got all the passengers on the board now. And now we got zero fuel weight, 58.8. And 31.9, 29.6. Let's see, 29.6. That will be this, the MACTO, so 29.6. So 58.8. 58.8 and 29.6. So this will change around the fuel planning a little bit. So if we now go to our performance page, and we'll also do another performance. Let's see what's going to happen. So departure performance, so SUNKO load sheet final. SUNKO live weather. We'll calculate again. We get the same speed, 60, but did nothing changes really. Let's see. Don't these numbers matter, man? That's it. Alright, so nothing changed for us. I'm good. So in the Airbus we do have to manage the speed ourselves, the altitudes ourselves. But we can go straight to 330, so we'll just do that. The Airbus actually is a very nice aircraft, and I must say I've been flying so many Boeings lately that I'm sort of Boeing trained now, like Boeing minded. But I do remember when switching from Airbus to Boeing, I was a little missing the Airbus, like plane pretty much flies itself. So yeah, it's just a little, it all does the same things. One is not better than the other, they're just different. And it's actually really cool that it's all simulated, because it's just, you know, it's just the aircraft. Alright. Let's get our constraints on both sides. So this is all managed. So we got managed altitude, managed heading, and managed speed. So anything else, flight directors are on both sides. 1005, they are not synced. I tend to forget, but it's an interesting thing. 1005, so now they're in sync. Anything else? Let's see. Yeah, it's closed. Wait, we cannot lock it if the door is open, right? No? Hello, people. And what was it this side? Right, so can lock the flight deck door now. Reset the trim. We will need predictive winch here. Got some integrated lights here. Or intake, not really sure what so that's fast for later. Let's get them VHF2 as well. And for the score code, let's go for a thrust of 3121. Just to put anything there, it doesn't matter. And let's keep it on standby for now. But we'll put we'll squawk normal or Ram or Charlie. That should be that. And I think we're pretty much finished. Now for the taxiing, it's quite interesting. Let's see. So the Carlos Jimenez del Campo International, so Punta Arenas in Chile. Let's have a look at the layout here of the airport. So we're parked here. So we'll push back nose to the right, and then this gets us onto, I don't know, Bravo or Charlie, whatever. We'll drive straight on to Echo. On Echo, we'll get onto a runway 01. We'll just follow that and then take a left turn onto our runway 30, and we'll just backtrack the entire runway until we reach the end, and then we'll turn around and we'll take off. So they do not have a dedicated taxiway on that side. It looks like from this chart anyway, so I guess that's what we'll do. So push back nose to the right. So since we're about ready for departure, let's turn on the beacon lights. And where is our APU? So we'll start the APU. And let's open all the fuel pumps. APU, we can check right here down below. As you can see, it automatically switches to the APU page. So the flap is now open, and 1% now starts to rise. Let's have a look outside. That's a little door is now opening. And here is our APU. It is APU peeing from its butt. I'm just gonna let you think about it for a little bit. Look at those details, man. Man, that's nice. Right. That's our APU coming to life. Flap open, APU is now available for use. So APU bleed, we will need that on for our engine start. I'm not sure what is happening here. Okay, that was interesting. So switching over, I guess, from the ground power unit. The external power, that's no longer available even. That's interesting. Oh, it does this thing again. That's because we're letting GSX handle it. I think I understand. Alright, so GSX does all of this. We've had this happen a couple of times. Hello, Esmeralda. Okay, thank you. So,
Departure checks completed.
okay.
Bypass being inserted.
Alright, that's good stuff. Speaking of which, do we have ear locked? Looks like it. Parking brake is set. So hopefully I don't crash us, because it really has been a while since I've flown this aircraft. So nose to the right, tail to the left, please.
Release parking brake, please.
Parking brake released. or there you go.
Push. All engines clear. Start at wing.
Alright, here comes engine number 2. So the N2 starts rising, but we don't have to add fuel, it will do it automatically. Okay, engine number 1.
And the brace position, which you must adopt if you hear brace.
Oh, I think we just missed the
8 emergency exits on this area.
power transfer unit test.
The exits nearest to you.
We could just hear the barking sound.
That your nearest usable exit may be behind you. Emergency lighting will guide you to an exit. In an emergency, leave all baggage on board. Your seatbelt is fastened, adjusted, and released as shown.
Reset parking brake.
Must be fastened whenever the seat
Waiting
belts
your
are
confirmation for a good engine start.
recommended to keep it fast.
Alright, guess we have 2 running engines. Let's have a look. EGT is still rising. Also stealing this parking brake. TCAS on standby. Company message. Company message will be our final load sheet, I think. So where do we do this? ATSU. Com menu. No, config data mode. Where do we get the messages from again? Or did I not click com menu? Yeah, I did. So, AOC. Received messages. There you go. Load sheet. Should have fuel 58.8. Takeoff weight 67.1. That is the gross weight is 67.3, but our taxi. Oh, let's confirm good engine start. My bad. Confirm.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start.
If you go to
can
the,
disconnect.
I'm not sure if we now can go to the NSD page. That's basically this one. It is like a 200. Well, we can see on the OFP. There is a 200 kilograms of fuel reserved for taxiing usually. Taxi 230 even, it says. So that's why I think there's the difference between the gross weight right now, 67.3 and 67.1 when we actually take off. So that will be our takeoff weight. We've got 156 passengers plus 3. So let's accept this. And return.
Don't track disconnecting. Bypass pin removed.
So it is whining about the estimated fuel on board upon landing.
Right is clear.
Alright, so we can start taxiing. So the flaps go to 1, and I think that we arm the speed brakes for takeoff, or the ground spoilers actually. They then become the ground spoilers. Parking brake, TCAS is on standby, APU bleed is on. Well, we do not need the APU now, so let's turn off the APU and the APU bleed. And what else? Let's go nose wheel steering light to taxi, and then the runway turn off lights. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. So parking brake released. And let's see if we can get out of there. Let's go to the Falkland Islands. Let's check how this aircraft steers on the ground, because I believe this was one of the aircraft that steers a little bit funny. But I've been flying so often lately, and all different kinds of aircraft, so especially like the 737 and then the 777. So what we'll do here, let's have a quick look, but I think we should go straight. Yeah, so we go straight onto that runway, and then we can take a left turn. Oops. That's the cabin crew reporting ready.
The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Thank you. Maybe why I don't just turn on the taxi lights, or the landing lights, I meant. Just be super visible when we're driving here. And there are also dangerous positions. Not like immediate danger, obviously, and there's always going to be support, but you know, I think it's generally a good idea to, when you're driving on the runway, to be aware of the fact that you're driving on the runway, you know. Cabin crew, take your seats for takeoff. And let's turn on the DIGIS. Alright, so let's turn the Airbus around. As you can see, she's quite maneuverable. Let's not try to waste too much of our runway. Going to set the parking brake here for a second. I did see a windsock out there earlier, but I think it's just out of our angle now. Let's have an external view. There, so we got quite a strong wind here. Let's have a final wind check. Now that we're still standing here on the ground. 290, 20 knots. What's this thing? Oh, of course, this, yeah, we can just ignore that. Alright, so the auto brake should go to max. Spoilers are on, flaps are on the takeoff position. Let's do the takeoff config test. And actually, yeah, it's okay, let's do that takeoff config. Takeoff config normal. Where's the clock? It should be here. Hold on, let's see elapsed time. So parking brakes released. And then I believe we set it to flag sensitivity. Shit, is it in? It is. Alright, so let's go to the Falkland Islands. So V1 speed is 131 and it's coming up. Rotate. And we do not appear to have a flight director, but we have positive rates. Gear up. There's our flight director. So at around 1610 will be our thrust acceleration altitude. And we have a right turn, so the thrust levers now go to climb. And we lower our nose a little bit. And the aircraft will start to accelerate a bit more. Let's stay on the flight deck for a bit. That was maybe a bit of a fast bank there. That's how I retracted our flaps now. So we're basically flying direct to PALIX. There is no departure route or anything. It's just 64 miles following that line. So let's turn on the autopilot. So we got AP1, 1 FD2, auto thrust on, thrust is at climb. We're going to altitude 330 and we're following navigation. We're still local QNH until 10,000 feet. Let's turn off the runway turn-off lights and the taxi lights. I forgot to turn off the packs, so now we'll leave them on then. They should be here. Pack 1, pack 2. 10,300 feet. So what does the airport chart actually tell us from our current airport? We just departed. No penguins. It's nice that it shows you the top of climb on here. So QNH flashing, 10,000 feet, so we'll go to standard barometric pressure. So we pull it on both sides before the aircraft starts complaining. Nose has dropped as well. We can turn off the landing lights and the seatbelt sign as well. So here we are. Let's get back to the flight deck. See what's happening up here. 45 miles until we reach PALIX. Let's zoom out. And then Galvilar, and then a right turn to SUNKO, and so on. EGYP 208. Let's put in a 6. So runway 28 will be 282 reciprocal 102. For the radio we'll put in 102. This will give us a central line basically coming from the runway. Let's go to the plan page. And then let's quickly go to the flight plan first. So that's the extended runway central line. But there's no range link yet. I want to put a range link around the runway as well. So this is now 40 miles. So the glide slope is at 1700 feet. 4.7 from IMP. IMP is the localizer. So 4.7 nautical miles. And I believe we can put in decimals in the Airbus, but not really certain. So radio 102 and try 4.7. What was it? 4.6? I forget now. 4.7. Radius. It's making 5 miles. Okay, that's good. There's a little link of 5 miles. And then let's do What if we also add, like, for instance, 25 knots? Or should we do this on a different page? So, EGYP 28. Radio 102. And then we'll say, let's say 25 knots. Yeah, so we're basically flying straight to the airport. This doesn't seem very efficient. It's taking us straight to the airport. How does that work? Let's have a look here. Flight plan to SUNKO. Top of climb. We'll just get a little step here. Do this again. So PALIX. So PALIX, GAL, and then SUNKO, ASKAS, DIGIS, then comes the top of descent. There's a limit 250 knots at 10,000 feet. Then MTP. So that's actually just the light there at the airport. FF28. Let's see, so flight plan discontinuity. Yeah, we're going to delete this for now. Just clear. So what's going on right now? So this basically take it to MTP and then to Alpha. This looks funny. I don't think we're supposed to be flying like that. But I don't think they have arrivals at the airport. There's no arrival charts. I thought MTD was to the right. Yes, MTP, it's just the VOR. Maybe that's why it's there. I don't know why it's in the flight plan. But yeah, we'll have to do some radio or some vectoring. Let's go back to ARC for now. So what we're looking at, let's go full zoom or nothing there. 26,000 feet. Can disarm the ground spotters. and you can tell it's pretty windy. The aircraft is basically cramming. The green diamond is where we are, the track that we're actually flying. That's where we're going to. We'll be on this track, but our nose is actually pointing that direction, and that is basically into the wind. So I guess the wind is blowing against our tail there in the back, and it's just pushing it that direction, causing the nose to drift to the left. 70 knots in the direction to 99 degrees. Alright, 7 knots come out from Gal, and shortly after that we'll reach our top of climb as well. So when we'll descend, we will have to manage all the step descents, step altitudes, the fuel, ourselves. And we could just set 1700 feet, which is the light slope intercept altitude, but if there were terrain, well basically there will be no terrain, good to see, but generally, you know, you do not really want to do that. Is there terrain here? 3737, 26, 1616. So after touching down, we'll just exit the runway and we're right there on the left side. Start valve, handle access, pressure relief door. Sweet, man. Phone jack, so I can plug in my electric guitar there. Precaución, verificar que paneles de capotas alterados están completamente asegurados. Oh. Peligro. Manténgase alejado de la vena de riesgo mientras el motor está encendido. Sensitive hazard areas while the engine is running. So let's not put our heads in here, but we can put the camera in here. back to our office. So we're now at cruise, alt cruise, 81, 1FD2, auto thrust. We're now at Mach mode, 0.788, 0.78, 79. Level 330 until the top of descent, and then we just start stepping down. So 1910 Zulu. So we'll be expecting to arrive in about 45 minutes or so, 50 minutes. Twenty-five, 23, 24. So these are the temperatures, or the cockpit temperatures. Make it nice and cool. Any cabin let's have it a little bit warmer. The radio altitude for us will be 200 feet. Airport elevation 233, runways at 200 feet. So we have the performance page, and there we can click to approach, and then we'll see the local QNH, the temperature, the wind, transition flight level, and then this will give us the speed. It's 133. It's 139. I think it's 139. Shit, I can't really see. It's 139. So battle, we can set that now. That will not change. It's 200 feet. Or radio actually, not battle. Radio. Will be okay for us. So we can keep doing some weather checks. (350), 17 knots, gusting 27. So 350, and we're landing at 28. So that is a bit of a crosswind for sure. Visibility 10, scattered clouds at 700 feet. But seems so low. 12 degrees, QNH 1010. And what does it say here? Because we have winds in here as well, 340, 26. Transition flight level, 55. Let's have a look at the final approach chart, what it says. 5,000 feet. I'm not sure if it likes this. It says invalid entry. So we'll enter it like flight level 050. There it goes. So the QNH at the moment is 1010. So let's just put, at least we got something to put in. But we'll have to change it, we'll have to check this when we start descending. And a short look for the approach. And temperature was, what was it, 13? 12 degrees, 1010, and we got 12 degrees. The temperature. So that stuff is basically set up now. So this was just the oceanic flight. Nothing really too exciting about the surroundings. So we're now 28 minutes into the flight. I don't think we have a time for the top of descent like we do on the Boeing. If you go to flight plan, it just says, oh, we do 1851. Okay, that's nice. 1851. Time is now 1824, so it's in about 20 minutes. Obviously no way of telling if we're crabbing a little bit, yes or no, because there is no real reference below us. But you can tell that we're crabbing just by looking at it. And this difference, and obviously explanation like that. That's quite a difference, but it's also quite a strong wind, so I guess it makes sense. So top of descent in about 25 minutes. We're 30 minutes into the flight now. So quite strong winds at the Falkland Islands today, gusting up to 27 knots. And we'll have quite a crosswind actually. So 17 knots and then gusts up to 27 knots. I'm not sure about the scattered clouds at 700 feet. It seems really close to the ground, considering the airport is at 200 feet. Not really sure how that works, but I think it's 700 feet. Stand by 1 moment, please. Okay, sorry about that. Totally back. We don't know where we left off. So about 20 minutes top of descent. So the weather, yeah, so the weather is quite strong winds. 350 17, gusting 27. 700 feet, there will be scattered clouds. Not sure what that's going to be looking like, because it's like clouds really close to the ground, you know. So maybe it's more like fog kind of thing. We'll see once we arrive. There was a very interesting thing on our arrival, or on the airport chart about penguins. It's like the cutest thing. Warning: avoid overflight of penguin colonies and areas of wildlife activity. I mean, how cute is that? Now, I didn't really look, but it doesn't look like you can see where they are, so I'm not really sure, you know, if this is applicable to us as well, since we're just like, you know, standard routes, but I don't know, but we'll see. Obviously, I don't think Microsoft Flight Simulator has a lot of penguins. They do actually have some wildlife here and there. So who knows, maybe there are penguins there. That would be very cute. Yeah, so they're a little bit different today now that we're flying the Airbus. Been flying so many Boeings lately. But I totally have to unlearn Boeing and relearn Airbus procedures. But in the end, the Airbus is actually a very convenient airplane. It does a lot of things for you. What it does not do for you is the step descent, so we'll have to descend ourselves. So top descent at 1852, it's now 1829. So as opposed to the Airbus or the Boeing, where you can just set 1700 feet for instance, here we'll basically do the step descent ourselves. So we'll see how that goes. We might have to use some vertical speed here and there, if the aircraft is not going to make it. So there's our top of descent, and that's the runway center line in blue, going to that little mine over there. So curious to see, there will be a lot of wind, and the wind is now 350, and we're landing at runway 28. So 280 degrees, the wind is from 350 degrees, it's basically from this area, from this direction, so almost straight down. So it's like a pretty crosswind kind of landing, and this will blow to the right of our tail, causing the tail to move to the left and the nose of the aircraft to move right. So probably have to put in some bit of left rudder when we want to compensate for that on touchdown. The final approach, and then finally on actual touchdown, like a short approach, or whatever you call that. Is this the, let's see. Yeah, this is our runway 28. At about 200 feet. So they're serving burgers in the back. And there's a green license plate, there's a green Chevy license plate 654BN and that is locked. You got to move it. So good evening, I would like to order a 24-carat diamond, please. How many? 14 million US dollars you said? Okay, so I'll just wire it to you right now. Sorry, just taking some personal calls here every now and then, you know how it goes. So it's quite an interesting hop because you're basically coming from one of the lowest southernmost cities on the entire planet. Right here, zoom out, in case you do not know where we are. So really close to the South Pole actually, with south 50 degrees. So basically one of the last cities on Earth, if you will, and I was like just over the water. So we got some oceanic route here, and then we get the Falkland Islands, and they are quite windswept. I'm curious to see, well, basically to see them up close. But usually when there's like these things, you know, there's so much things going on. We're just basically focusing on our instruments all the time. Otherwise, you know, we cannot assure that all the 156 passengers will actually reach their destination. And when we're dead, our boss is going to be very upset with us. And then we have two things to worry about. One, we're dead. Two, our boss is upset with us, you know. I'm thinking I didn't sign up for that stuff, so yeah, quite strong wind here, 89 knots. You see also the aircraft is really crabbing. And as I said earlier, this line is basically where we are actually flying. This is our actual track over the ground, but our nose is pointing in that direction because the wind coming from 317 degrees basically blowing against our tail. So where are we? Blowing against our tail, and it's causing the tail to go into, let's do a better here, the tail to move in that direction, causing the nose to turn left. And that's the same principle you have on the runway. So the wind is coming from the left, so the aircraft is moving to the left because of its, because the tail is moving to the right. So 89 knots, quite a lot. Could work in our favor. A little bit, or this will just be pretty much a straight line from now on. So, well, at least it's a bit of a tailwind, you know. So we might actually arrive a little early. We're expected to arrive at 1910 Zulu. And that's in about 35 minutes from now. So about 15 minutes or so until our stop of descent. That is right there, the white little arrow. This is actually part of the world I never fly in. I was thinking about it today. Maybe it might be interesting to take the route to the Falkland Islands. So it's not actually flying towards the United Kingdom, but it does belong to the United Kingdom overseas. You can tell by the EGYP, the ICAO code for the airport. Echo Golf, Yankee Papa. Echo Golf is always for the United Kingdom. Like you have Echo Golf Lima Lima for London, Echo Golf Kilo Kilo for London Gatwick, and so on. And they all start with Echo Golf. And so does this airport all the way down here next to Chile, way south on the planet here. Look at that. So I figured that might be an interesting flight to do. Right, all systems looking good. The engines are happy, but it climbs plus. EGT is okay. And we still have plenty of fuel. We'll have fuel on arrival 5.2. So that's plenty. There's some weather coming up there. And these are not clouds at the airport quite yet, so they're a lot higher than we could see here in the report. Only like scattered clouds at 700 feet. Let's refresh this. I think it's still the same, 1010, 350, 17 knots, gusting 27. Scattered 700 feet, 12 degrees. And we all put this info on the performance page. And the approach page on the performance tab. 1010, temperature 12, we got the winds. The winds are still automatically, we can change that later if we need to. Position, flight level 5,000 feet. And our final approach speed will be 139 knots with full flaps. We have a radio altitude 200 feet and we're landing at ILS 28. So the only thing we'll need to worry about, the only thing we'll need to really plan at some point is when we arrive. So look at it from this angle. So we're following this little line here. And that is actually going to take us to MTP, but look how close it is. And then a left turn straight to the runway. I mean, that's insane. So we're never going to fly towards that in a straight line. Might there actually be a waypoint down below that we could set? That could maybe work. Or maybe to the right. Or we'll just vector ourselves at some point. Or simply fly over it. And then stay in heading mode for a bit and then come about and just do the final approach on ILS 28. So I'm not quite there yet, but yeah, that's going to be interesting because basically it's just taking us straight over the runway, which is obviously never going to work. So time is now 1840, so we're about 10 minutes from the top of descent. So at least a minute or two is a good excuse for me to play around with my new tuning. real-time in-flight entertainment by yours truly, for yours truly, and for anyone interested not to fall asleep. That's what our little Airbus so coming up, DIGIS, in 7.7 miles, so basically like that, and then couple descents are the next event. So we'll be stepping, descent flights, we'll be stepping down. Basically we're just going straight to MTP, so the Mount Pleasant. I actually do not want to fly there, but we'll get close first, and then probably we'll do some heading. So let's say 102 is the reciprocal of our runway. We can put this in here, but we're not using it. We can sort of pre-dial it, 102. So at some point when we're getting close, let's go to the plan page. So some point when we're getting close, add some destination data, that's the one we just saw. I'll look at that in a second. So basically let's go to the runway area. So basically we'll be coming from here and then flying over the runway and then do a real fast turn that is simply impossible. So I don't know, somewhere, let's say from this line here we'll go 102, which is basically following this line, and we'll just do a left turn and then we'll carry on. And then by then we don't even need the PT DOR. By that time we'll actually probably can just run the localizer. So enter destination data, because it's anticipating our top of descent now. Let's check the weather, 1750 Zulu. So we still have the current weather, 350, 17 knots. We go to the performance page and you have these tabs, these pages here, actually descent and approach. So basically we filled this all out, 1010, this hasn't changed. And wind 340, 26. 350, 17, 27. I don't know why it's keeping giving slightly different data, although it doesn't have the slash obviously. I guess we'll go like that. It keeps saying answer test data, so maybe we'll just put it in 350, 17. And I'm curious, if we say clear, what it will do. Answer destination data, really? Okay, but we cleared that out, maybe it's okay like this. I mean, it has information, so... And otherwise, it can just go suck a tailpipe. So that's land. So we're approaching the Falkland Islands. So put this back on arc. Top of descent, not quite there, but we're getting closer. I'll quickly step into the galley to get the top of my ice tea, and I will be back within 2 shakes of a lamb's tail and the donkey's ear. So the aircraft is still flying. Oops, that's the wrong button. That's the wrong button as well. I do apologize. MTP is 119 miles out. We do have traffic, well, that's at 20 miles. We're not gonna see jack shit right now. We'll keep on monitoring the wind till 1750. Till 1750. Well, it looks like they have an hourly update, so that's okay. Then at least we'll get an update when we start our descent. So transition out to 5,000 feet. That's when we'll change from standard pressure to local pressure. We have our V-speed 139 with full flaps. happening up here. $18.50, $18.53. So top descent coming a little later. So 3 more minutes, and then we'll start descending. So the altitude, let's just see, SP 8,800, decel. We'll just go to cherry pick now, Alpha 4,700, maybe that's a good one to start. To point Alpha, 4,700 feet, I think that's a good one to start at. Alright, and what do we have? Mount Pleasant. So there's the VOR actually. No, that is MPA, not MPT. It is a little bit confusing. Anyway, it doesn't matter, we don't need it anyway. Point Alpha, 4,700, that's going to be our altitude. So unlike in the Boeing, you can set here 4,700, and then when the aircraft sees that it's crossing the top of the end, it will just start descending on its own. The Airbus will not do that. We'll put 4,700 there in the window, and then we'll just basically wait until it's time for us to descend. We could check, maybe we do have tailwind, so we're probably being blown forward a lot, so we might actually need to start the descent a little early. So that's what we'll do. Let's just descend now. So you just go open climb, so basically open descent, sorry, not climb. open descent, thrust will go to idle. So you see the N1 and for the engine number 1 and 2 is pulled down. And the aircraft will become a little bit more quiet on the outside. And on the inside, depending on where your ears are. So if anyone spots a penguin, please do warn me. Because we are not to disturb the wildlife and the penguin colonies that might be close. Okay, we could see that on the airport chart for the Mount Pleasant airport. All right. So descended. Start our descent. What's the time? 1853. You just want the destination data again. And we'll be there 1910. We'll be there in approximately 20 minutes. So let's address the cabin. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are now starting our descent and we've turned on the seatbelt sign. We're expected to arrive at our destination about 20 minutes or so. Please keep your seatbelt fastened, return to your seat, fasten your seatbelt, stitch your ass down. The local temperature will be 12 degrees. It's quite a windy day, but nonetheless you'll be happy to be arriving at your destination. On behalf of LATAM Airlines and the entire crew, thank you for flying. Right, so I think they bought that. So MTP is up next, 60 nautical miles. Basically when we reach this little line here, we'll just fly, we'll just vector ourselves a little bit and we can screw MTP, we're not going there. So enter destination data, it's asking for that. Let's start the recording of the descent and the, alright. So 1750, do we have a new update? No, we do not. Well, then I guess we'll just re-enter some of the data here. So performance page, approach, oops, go back to approach. The QNH 1010. 12 degrees, I'm not sure why it keeps asking that, because it does have data, right? The wind 350, unless it didn't like it when we tried to delete it earlier, 17 knots. Flight level 050, that's already there. I'm just going to keep it like this. The message appears to be gone. So 139 is our final approach speed, including flaps and wind correction, I think, because otherwise it would probably be 134. I think this is with wind calculation. But we do have quite strong winds, so we might need a little bit more than 139, maybe even 140, 141, whatever. So it's a thing to keep in mind just to keep during the approach. So 20,000 feet, we've already strapped in the passengers, so their seatbelt signs are on. We have local QNH 1010. I believe we can pre-dial it. No, we cannot in the Airbus, so let's just do 1010 and then we'll go back to standard. It's a little bit wonky of a system if you ask me. But maybe I'm just not doing it correctly, I don't know. There we have it, 1010 on both sides, pre-dialed. And we select the auto brake low. It's a long runway, so we'll be good with the auto brake on low. We do not have to arm the ground spoiler just yet, we'll do this on final approach. The cabin door is, flight deck door is closed, and let's lock it now for the descent and approach. So the engine start selector is actually still on. I guess we should have turned it off, but I left it on, it's okay. And we'll walking and everything looking happy. Could maybe start up the APU. APU page. Is it taking its time or is it not doing? There you go, flap open and then starts to run. So the N1 will be at around 10 there and the EGT will rise initially. And it should drop to around 400 degrees Celsius. I mean, the most airplanes, I believe it's 400 degrees Celsius. At some point it will say APU avail. So now you have APU and then it will read in green avail. It's short for available, obviously. There we go, avail at around 400 degrees. Got 100% N1. So that thing is running. So there's the Falkland Islands. So yeah, that does look pretty flat. There's a bit of, it looks like there's some elevation there and there as well. Definitely lowish clouds, but nowhere near 700 feet. Let's have a little weather check now. 1750. It's still 1750, so nothing changed yet. 12,600 feet. So let's now go to heading mode. Heading 102. Time 18:59. So is it about 10 minutes late? No, no weather. So the autopilot now is going to start to target 250 knots. As you can see, the yellow arrow there. Because we're reaching 10,000 feet, below 10,000 feet, we're not allowed to go to below faster than 250 knots. That's what's happening there. So 10,000 feet, this altitude, we turn on our landing lights. So it's now 1900. Speed limit exceeded, yes, I know. So let's get some drag out. So deploying the speed brake there now. That's a very kind to remind us that we're flying a little bit fast. We're getting really close to the airport now. Turn on the landing system, maybe we can see. So we're actually 7.2 nautical miles from the runway. So it should be basically below us, since we're also at quite an altitude. Not sure if I'm seeing it from this view. There's the runway. Cool. Oops. Oh, some buildings right there. Alright, pretty cool. I do not see a single penguin yet. penguins are cute. In case you didn't know, then now you do. 8,000 feet. I think we're good on the profile like this. The speed brakes are still out. So let's use the tractor now. See if that's braking everything. Immediately nose goes up a little bit. The aircraft tries to maintain its speed. That's good. We're descending a little bit more shallow now, but we have a lot of space to go. And we can probably just take a left turn onto Alpha at some point. Zoom in a little bit more. Well, is that enough? No. So basically these arrows telling us that's the point where we'll reach 4,700. And I guess it's okay looking at these surroundings. So the Falkland Islands people. But we're not there yet. We're getting closer. Let's also turn on the runway turn-off lights now and the nozzle steering lights. If the button wants to cooperate, that would always be nice, thank you. I forgot to turn on the strobe, so nobody saw that. There's Alpha, that's where we're going. And then also basically we'll fly around this area, take a left turn onto Alpha. Destination, estimate fuel on board below minimum. Yeah, I know, it was complaining earlier as well. We can't just ignore that. Here it does say Alpha, so that's cool. So it already figures so 4,700. So let's switch now to local pressure. 1010. Let's do one final weather check. Basically for the wind, the QNH 1850, 340 14 knots, QNH 1008. Let's start by changing that 1008. And then we have the wind 340 14, gusting up to 31. So 340 14. And 14 knots. QNH was now 1008. And we now get the same speed, 139. Okay, back to flight plan. On our way to Alpha still. So we can now start our left turn onto Alpha. So let's maybe first do factors towards it. Not really sure if we are on an intercept, if the aircraft needs to be on an intercept or no. Let's go manage, and that doesn't quite take it. There's no nav intercept, okay, so that makes sense. So we'll need to go heading, we'll need to turn left a lot more. I think it said about 261 or 281. $4,700, and then we're just going straight down to 1,700 after that. The landing system is on. We're now 17 miles out. We're still in heading mode, but nav is armed. And what's it doing now? I don't quite follow. It's overshooting. I don't like that. Wasn't paying attention, and there you go. So I quickly compensate for that before everything goes awry. And let's see. Let's arm the localizers. That is armed, but it's not intercepted yet, so we'll have to keep on vectoring a little bit. And I must say, coming from the Boeing now, I do miss that you see the light coming out of here. You do see the heading bug there, but that's obviously a little bit different. Below the glide slope, I'm going to descend now to 1700 feet. So open descent. Still in heading mode. And I will just try to get closer. Hopefully, I think we have to rearm the localizer. Let's expedite here a little bit. Okay, so we're on the localizer, that's good. So we're expediting just ever so slightly. And then we arm the approach, and there we have it, category 3 dual. Right, so speed. We're 10 miles out, we're going way too fast. So speed breaks out for a little bit. Oops, my bad. We're on the glide slope, flap 1. And we keep decelerating. We're now 8 miles. I'm going to drop the gear. Let's go to create a lot more drag. Let's get the cabin crew ready. Cabin crew, take your seats for landing. Brake still out. Let's retract it now. Flap 2. And we arm the ground spoilers. We have auto brake to low. Our range is now 5.8 nautical miles. Let's keep on decelerating. All the way to 139. Got a bit of a hasty approach, I guess. I do have visual on the runway. There are some clouds here, but this is not 700 yet. Flap 3. So you can do a flap 3 landing in the Airbus, but you will have to change the setting up here, telling that you do a landing in flap 3 configuration. And then you obviously also tell the performance page where we were earlier. Speed still going down, so that's good. Flaps 4, that's full flaps. So 1,000 feet. Let's start a little bit and then I'll take over with the autopilot. So autopilot off. Just fly the ILS now. Just follow the glide slope.
500.
So decision altitude is 200 feet. Let's watch watch our descent right now. I guess we're sort of back on glide slope now. Keep descending. Now we aim for the touchdown zone.
Minimum.
Continue.
$100.
Definitely windy.
50, 40, 30,
Idle.
20. Retard.
Just settle down, please. A little bit of rudder.
Don't sink.
7, 5.
Whoops, that's a scary landing. Are we down? I think we are. That's a nose wheel. Oh damn, man. Okay, that was a really messy landing. Reverses out. Well, we hardly do anything, pretty much. So not really sure. I'm going to review that, see what was happening there. But we're down, flaps up. And the ground spoilers can come up as well. And just keep on going, so we're not sitting here on the runway. So welcome to Mount Pleasant. You can see there quite a lot of wind. So we vacate the runway to our left. There's definitely some low clouds. Still not sure about the 700 feet, but alright. Park here next to this ground power unit. That is what it is. Looks like it, I think. Parking brake set. There we are. Well, welcome to Mount Pleasant, everybody. Hope you enjoyed your flight. I know that I did. It was an interesting approach. Not really sure about what happened on the final approach there. But yeah. Maybe it's an interesting thing to keep on flying the Airbus on the channel for a little bit, like after, like the comic period. They're flying a lot of Boeing, and we've been getting very much used to them. And yeah, so maybe try to apply the things that I learned in the Boeings to try to apply that experience to the Airbus, because that definitely behaves differently. Although mostly all the principles are still the same, of course, but yeah, there's definitely a difference right there. But yeah, cool. It was interesting. Unfortunately, there's no other traffic here. But we do have penguins, and who can say that, on a Monday that they have penguins. My friend, thank you very much for checking, everybody, and I will see you at the next video. Bye bye.